All right, we'll just wait for a couple of minutes, I guess, to see if anyone comes in late. Right, no batteries again. All right. How about that? All right. Oh, hey. All right. I guess like if I hold off on quizzes for much longer, it's gonna be like a quiz every day for the second half of the semester. But I guess that's okay. It removes the element of surprise a little bit. So the plan for today is basically to continue doing Q4 from 2024. And I will then force you to do a few questions from 2025, just like in case in case there's people who need like more intimidating and stuff. And that's about it. All right. So what we're doing to remind people yesterday is Q4. All right. Was it 2023? It was 2023, sorry. No. No, it is. Oh, okay. Never mind. It's question 4 from 2023. Or not? Sorry. Sorry, is it 2024? Oh, I see. All right. Yeah, here we are. So we have data that's formatted like so. So it's basically digits separated by spaces. There's new lines at the end. And we are writing a function to read in this data and to then output the names of the students with the highest averages. So where we got to yesterday is we were reading in where we were reading in the data line by line. Have a bug here, by the way. This should be line I is not a new line either, because it will be a new line actually. So the way we're doing it is we are setting in a line like this, and then we're reading the line character by character. Initially, just reading in as.number, and then saying, okay, we have a while loop, and the while loop is gonna keep going until we reach the end of the line. And as we are reading in digits, until we encounter something that's not a digit, we do what you did for lab 2 or 3 with A to I. So the plan then was to read in the file, figure out the number of students that there are. Once you know the number of students, you can allocate a block of students to read all of those in. And then you can sort them or find the max or whatever. All right. So I was a little bit in a hurry last time because I was running out of time. So let's first test the function here because it's gotten a little bit long. That is completely fine. I don't know what this problem. Okay, so all right. So the data looked like this. And this, by the way, is something that is kind of the most common thing that they see people do when they come to me to office hours and their thing doesn't work. Is it's because they did what I did last time and wrote a bunch of code without testing it. So on the midterm, you don't really have a choice. Yesterday, I didn't have a lot of choice because I was running out of time for the lecture. But obviously, the right thing to do is what I'm doing right now. And you write a function, you test it. You don't write the next function that's going to call it and hope it's going to be okay. It's really not going to be okay. So as I'm sure people have found out if they started project 1. Eventually it's going to be okay, but not right away. Okay. So I'm defining the line like this. So that would be what I would get. And then I'm going to say, okay, so this returns a student S. So remember, the way I set it up is it returns a student. It sets the student number inside of here, and it sets the average, and then it just returns it like this. If you want to take a really good picture, it's got to look like this. So, okay. Or I actually recommend screenshots from YouTube, which, look much better. Okay. So I'm going to say student S is equal to read in line of line, like so. And I'm going to print. So that's going to be like the student and the average. And because it's a student S without the star, it's going to be S dot number and S dot average. Like this. So I'm going to try to run it, see what happens. And what happened is I had a compilation error. So that is fine. Line at I is definitely fine. Okay, great. Not equal. Oh, because I forgot. Yeah. Okay. So the issue was that I did not type in the exclamation point here. It was saying L value required is left operand, whatever. L value means the thing on the left. So it thought I was saying line I is equal to something. It was thinking that this is L value. Unfortunately, VS Code was underlining the wrong line. So I did not see that. All right. And we have an exception. So here I'll look at what the line is. The line seems fine. So that's fine. I is 5,856, which is clearly too much. I clearly did not actually stop when I should have stopped. So here I said, while line I is not equal to new line. And here there was a new line. I think it's that I advanced past the new line and skipped the null. So I'll do that. So the current sum is infinity, but that's just because I was reading in all sorts of garbage up until character 5,856. So I'll run it again. All right. And here we have a modest 14.0. That seems about right. Make sense? So I'll try to. There's not really much here to test with again. You might like to test it with like just one grade, I guess, just to make sure that that doesn't mess it up. But other than that, there's like not much to say there. So that was fine. Okay. So here, kind of given that I actually need to stop at the null, I'll just do this. All right. So here we are. So now I'm ready to do read in all data. So again, the data looks like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one loop that just reads in so we are reading in up to whatever 2000 character or like whatever it is, like this much minus, oops. So this many characters, and I'm reading it from FP, and I'm reading it into current line, like so. And I'm counting the students. So again, keeping with my new approach of not taking shortcuts, I am going to first test whether that works at all, and then we'll continue from there because today we have time. So I'm going to read in all data from data.txt. And I'm going to print the number of students here. Like so. Run it. And it counted right. So the number of students is, oh, it counted wrong. The number, so it counted the last line. So this, by the way, comes up in your project as well. So when I was entering the data, I remember that I actually pressed an enter here. So that means that there is actually a last line here, which is just a new line. So for your project, we made it so that you're actually given the number of students, which is what you should, not students, terms, which is what you should use anyway. Here, it's kind of ambiguous because like often it makes sense to do a new line at the end. But then if you're doing a new line at the end, then that's like an extra line. So you got to account for that. So I'll just say I'm not doing the last new line. So I'm like pressing backspace right now over here. And now I'm pressing save. And now if I try to press the down button, it doesn't work because that's the end of the file. So if I rerun this, that is now fine. Make sense? So that was like a setup issue. So, okay, so we counted the number of students correctly. So we can now proceed to read in all the students. So I'll say students, student block, or like all students, I guess. I don't know why this is turquoise. Okay, it's now fixed. Okay, so this is malloc, size of student times and students. So here, because I don't have the create student mess, because I made it so that the number is just a character array, I don't do an array of pointers, I just do a block of students. And now I'll just go through all the lines and I'll read in all the students. So I even know the number of lines, so I'll just reopen the file. Let me close it here so that there's not a memory leak. So if I reopen the file, I just start reading it from the start, right? So here, this is maybe the first time that you see this like this rather than like this. Of course, that's the same thing. It's just that here fp is a variable of type file start. I've already declared it. Here, I'm just saying fp is something new, happen to be, again, that I'm opening the file. Make sense? So now I'm just going to do, so I equals 0, I smaller than the number of students, I plus plus. I'm getting the current student and saying all students at I is read in line, current line. All right. So this is set up in such a way that there is no pointer stuff here. The reason it's set up, it didn't have to be that way. The reason it's set up so that there is no address of, there is no asterisk here, is that I set it up that way, right? I'm saying here, return S. S is just a variable that's of type student. So it's the same as returning an integer. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, you can imagine me just setting up a block of integers and having a function that computes an integer. And that would look like this, right? So once I've read those in, again, let me just print them all out. So this is just for debugging purposes. So I'm going to print student number and the average. So this is going to be all students I. Is it a dot or is it an arrow? Anyone? Who says dot? Who says arrow? It is a dot. So how do I figure it out? So all students at I, what's the type of this? The type is student, right? So if the type is student, it's not a pointer. There's no way I can use an arrow. Make sense? So that is number. And that is average. And it's kind of like this. All right. All right, since we're being annoying about the arrows and the dots, how would I access this guy using an arrow if I really wanted to? Suggestions. I wouldn't do it, but you can do it. Yeah. Ideas? It's in the exercise. Yeah. Bracket, all students. Oh, ampersand. Okay. Yeah. Ati or so like square brackets like this or okay. 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 All right. So so address of actually does this. So that would be unfortunate because that doesn't work. So you could say this. Maybe that maybe you actually said because you were saying parentheses. So if you do this, this could actually work. So you're just converting this to the address of that, and then you're right. Like if you just go back to the address of, you can use the arrow. Yeah. Yeah. That is actually what I had in mind. Yeah. Yeah. But this works. And then also you can say all students plus I arrow average. So both of those are gonna work. All right. Yeah, and I think you probably must have meant this because you were talking about parentheses. Why is that? Oh, that's just because like no semicolon. Okay, questions about this? Does this make sense to everyone? This is on the pointer exercises. You got to know it for next Monday. Well, the Monday after next, yeah. So given this, are there questions about it? All right. Okay. So that's fine. So, and now we're basically done, right? Because we have a nice block of students, and all we need is just find the maximum and get all the ones that correspond to the maximum. You could use Q-sort. You don't even need to because you can just go through all of them, get the max, and then go through all of them again and print out the ones that have the max. So we're going to be nice about it, and we're actually going to return all students. I'm going to print this. And then we're going to find the max in another function. Just because I named it like read and data. So I could, in principle here, like while I'm reading them in, keep track of the max as well. That would be slightly more efficient, but whatever. So, okay. So this would be best performers, and this would be students, all students. And this would be the number of students. So here I messed up a little bit because if I return all students, I have no way of knowing how many of them there are. So I guess I'll change this to void and I'll say student. PL students and int P and students, just so that they can pass both of those pieces of information. So I'm not going to change any of the code here except to say star PL students is equal to all students and star P and students is equal to and students. So that way I don't have to bother with the asterisks all the time inside of this function. Sorry, so this is getting to be a quite large function. So I'm going to scroll here so that it's all on the screen at once. Is this good with everyone? Questions? Okay. So now that we've done it, you can say, okay, so we'll pass this information to best performers. So curmax, just set it to whatever, -1. We'll go through all the students, we'll find the maximum average, and then we'll print the best performance. So here, if it's larger than curmax, I'll update the curmax. Right? And now that I'm done with it, I'm just gonna go through the list again and print all the relevant students. Just copy and pasting this entire loop. So now if it's equal to curmax, then I'm gonna print the student. Make sense? So this is like nothing, right? So once you do this, we can read in the data. So I'm gonna say stint, all stints, and instance, I'm going to read in the data now. So here I'm sending the address of all students so that all students is set to the address of the block of students. I'm setting the address of n students so that that is also set. So because those are two separate things, I made it so that I'm communicating with a function via pointers. If it were one thing, like I thought it was for a second, I would do it via return so that they don't have to bother with the pointers as much. So now that I've done it, I can print the best performance. So that is going to be just all students and students. Can anyone give me like the intuition for why it is that there is a dress off on line 99 and not on line 100? So there, like, it might be like too silly a question, or people might be confused. I don't know. So like it's kind of silly because, well, duh, I just made print best performance take student star and int, and I made read in all data take star star and int star. So it kind of had to be like that. The philosophical reason that it's like that is that over here, I had to, for example, send in address of nstudents so that the function can read the file and find out what nstudents is and set it to that. Here, I'm just giving it the information. So that's like the philosophical reason. the like physical reason is just that the units got a match, right? All right. So I can now run this. And the winner is whatever, this person. Which seems about right. Like those guys have really got to catch up. Just kind of like out of interest, like let's make it so that there is a tie. All right, so now there is a tie, so those two people should be both the winners. It should work. Like there is no reason that it wouldn't. There is no sorting even, but makes sense to test. All right. Makes sense. Okay, questions about this? All right. So one annoying kind of thing that I alluded to last time, but did not actually get to, was that here I kind of just assumed that this is the longest a line could possibly be. But what if someone wanted to do like a lot of degrees had a lot of grades? Like, wouldn't that like not fit in? And technically, yes. To be honest, when I was writing the 2024 midterm, that was on purpose, and I was intending to subtract 1 point from people who did not consider it. I then changed my mind and did not subtract the points because it's just annoying. So, like, what you could do in principle, if you wanted to find out what is the size of the file, like, there's not an easy way to do it in C, but you could just like keep reading fgetS in a loop and seeing whether you get to a new line or not. And if you didn't get to a new line, that means that you didn't read enough. So you just like restart reading the file and you read in a longer line, which you reallog. And yeah, I'm not going to ask for that in the midterm. I'm not going to do it now either. It's quite annoying. So yeah, that was a bad idea on my part. So not gonna do it. And this got full marks. This is the reasonable thing. Okay. All right. Questions? All right. So this is Q4. So let me show you 20. Oops. Okay, you got to change this to paper, I think, rather than exam. Okay. Please read Q1 and start doing it. In the meantime, I'll change the name of the file or something. Okay. The link should now work as is. Right? Who's working on this? Right, some people. Okay. All right. So I guess kind of the only thing here is to figure out whether it's a trick question or not. If it's Q1, it's usually not a trick question unless I messed it up. So this is basically like the thing that you would do in Python, right? So you I almost got the suggestion. Okay. So it's the evens. So if I guess it could do plus equal to. Wait, is it even elements or even numbers? Oh, it's at even indices. So I'll do plus equals 2, and I'll say block at I equals to 0. Right? So here the idea is you just like increment by 2 rather than increment by 1. So you set, block at 0, block at 2, and so on to 0. So you might worry, would this have an effect outside the function? It's supposed to, right? So yes, this will have an effect outside the function because you're sending in an address and you're saying go to that address plus 0 means like go to that address and at the start set it to 0. So changing something at an address will have an effect outside the function. The other thing that makes sense to remember is just this kind of thing works the same way that Python does. So you can pass a list in Python, change the contents of the list, and that has an effect outside the function. It works exactly like that with kind of a block of elements in C. Yeah.
I guess one question I had is like generally when we're doing the midterm, like do we have to include all of like the header files, just stuff like that?
Yeah, so the question was, do you need to include the header files? So the answer is yes, you do need to include them on the longer questions. On the shorter, we don't mark that. On the longer ones as well, like not really. So so like if it's like a complete function, then no. If it's write the whole program, then yes. Okay. All right. Other questions? Okay. So we have 10 minutes before the midterm. I think I'll probably let you go soon because it doesn't make sense to start a new thing. So I'll just, yeah, I mean, like, so yeah. So again, so just like with 180, my suggestion is that you try to write one midterm on paper, but just the one. The others, if you practice with them, it makes a lot more sense to actually code them up and try running them. And that's because the only way that you know that you have some kind of conceptual gap is if you try running the thing and it doesn't work. And then you figure out what the gap was. Yes.
That have like more exercises.
No, I'm like the world's only source of those apparently. There really aren't good ones. This is why I made mine. So there is like so if you Google Turing's craft, I think they made it free now. They're just like it's not very many and they're not very good, but they're, in my opinion, hello YouTube. That is also available. But unfortunately, there's like just like not very much more. It's also like conceptually difficult. It's like I came up with everything that they think there was to come up with. So it's kind of difficult to, as far as I know, at least. So it's kind of difficult to say, well, like, there's like all those others. They're just seemingly aren't. Yeah. Other questions? All right. So yeah. So please practice. Please kind of practice compiling. If it doesn't compile, yeah, a lot of the time it's just because you made a silly mistake. But a lot of the time it's because there was like a genuine miscalculation somewhere with the pointers or something like that, which like it could be in between a silly mistake and like a conceptual misunderstanding. But like the only way to find out is to make it actually work and say, okay, the reason it didn't work in the first place is that is the mistake I made, and I'm not going to make that mistake next time. So, yeah. All right. So office hours by appointment the next couple of days. Just email me. I posted on Piazza like what times I'm available. Nobody booked me yet for that, so still free for that. Agentic AI Studio, Chinese New Year's Eve, Monday, 11 a.m. Sorry, like I guess maybe people celebrate in the evening. I don't know. And then, yeah, there's going to be more stuff for Tuesday and Wednesday announced later. All right. See ya. Enjoy the weekend that's coming. Bye.